Hello, 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 chaps. It's turn 99 of Pit Boss 72, in which, yeah, I didn't do this, really. This was Sivak, perhaps overstepping what a lurker is supposed to do. I mean, I did do almost all, the vast majority of in-game actions, but yes, he guided me very, very closely. And for example, he showed me how to do a gold overflows trick with whipping a settler and chopping at the same time, and then building a scout or two scouts maybe afterwards, and getting all the overflow gold from that. I'd never actually bothered to learn how to do that before, so that was quite nice. So that's the main reason why I have 14 cities and the others have significantly fewer. Now, Atrin did attack Rome, as we can see, quite a long time ago, so that is why Rome is stunted. It may also be why Atrin is stunted. So, but I still have a lot more than green lines, Redurium. I do suspect that I have a superior map starting position. For one thing, look at this, right? I have Tenochtitlan, and then I can found one city in each direction. Like, there's two cities that are on the edge of the map to the south of my capital. Now you look at the Romans, and they have to move, they always have to go north, or they can't go south. So that means that the moment they start moving, they have to go 2 city spots away with their settler sooner than I do, because I can found 1, 2, 3. Well, I can found 1, 2, 3, 4 cities that are basically next to my cap, or 3 if you don't count this one. Whereas the Romans, how many did they found? Well, this one was awkward to get to, and found quite recently probably. So they founded this one and one over here. So basically two really, because I'm not counting this as adjacent from the cap. So I definitely had a better start in that sense than the Romans. I mean, if you look at their cap though, the cap hexes are the same, but map positioning and being able to squeeze in an extra down here is an advantage for me. Now you've got Greenline. Well, I don't really know much about his starting position at all, except for the fact that he built this town. Now, he also has a town here, so this pig is getting cannibalized. This is a 2 hammer hex, and that's literally... Oh, and it allows him to move ships through here. I never really thought about that. That's rather concerning. He could move a galley right here, and then have, if it's got horse archers in it, could attack Texcoco as well as Tenochtitlan, or it could go here and then here. That's quite a nuisance. Anyway, but my point is, though, that maybe he really felt the need to secure the ivory. Maybe he really wanted that, which kind of makes sense, but this city grew out to 2 tiles before he founded this, so he could have really waited for that. And building it just to, in future, put ships in here is a bit questionable, because you could just build a fort. So I feel like the fact that he built this town indicates that his options for good city sites were limited, whereas mine definitely weren't. Mine were definitely not limited to the point that I would make it totally mediocre town like that. Now, Tlacopan here does no, it has its own food site in the cattle, apart from, in addition to these 2 which are shared. Tlaxcala has the pigs. Malinalco has the cattle and the rice. Tamuin is on a spice. I don't have a single mediocre. Every single city site I have is good, except for this one. Anyway, so that brings us to the topic of expansion, over expansion. So I'm building wealth in 1, 2, 3, 4 set cities. Now if I stop building wealth, let's see how my expenditure is looking without building wealth. Oh, and by the way, I probably wouldn't even have currency yet if it wasn't for that gold overflow trick from Sivak. So, blimey. Not to mention the fact that he really supercharged this expansion by... I'm just a noob still, really, if I'm left to my own devices. With, like, how many workers... I probably would have overbuilt workers and overroaded to begin with. Like this has taken a long time to get cottaged, which is probably a weakness, but it also reflects, even on turn 99, how the expansion was sort of led by settlers, and then the workers come in pretty soon afterwards, but the settlers are there first, which is probably how it should be. I think that's how MJMD did it in PB70 with his rapid expansion that set him in the lead for the whole game. So anyway, I'm on -8 net income. So, and that happened... I mean, look at this, right? I have a city with 2 population, another one that was just founded that has 3 population, I have Tio with 1 population, and I have another one that I'm going to found here. That will be 1 population, of course. I also have Tula, and I don't mind stealing the pigs off Tesh Kokok because I'm quite happiness limited. I'm 6 population max, not counting any whip unhappiness. So it's definitely fine to steal the pigs from Tesh Koko, but I'm probably not pronouncing that, so why am I even trying? But it's still a mediocre place. 3 population, founded a fair while ago. So what was my point? So I'm scraping my way through the research. Now, having said that, probably I'm the only person with currency, and I'm also no one else has calendar or construction either, or aesthetics, or alphabet, or horseback riding. There is someone that has iron casting, ironworking and metal casting for a fair while, and maybe someone has monarchy. Let's actually. Where do you even check that? Yeah, okay, so Green Line has monarchy. I think he adopted that maybe 5 turns ago. Oh, and he has organised religion, so he's quite internally developed. He certainly won't be having happiness issues. So Green Line is actually technologically par with me, I would guess. Yeah, he's par with 16 net income per turn. Now I need to put everything back. Yeah, I'm going to whip a couple of markets. This market will get whipped at some point. Maybe not too soon. I don't know. Should I build a market here? I mean, I can only really 3 whip it. So, and I have 1 of the whips. I need 5 population, right? 1 of them is gone. So I need 4, but I only have 3. So I have to put in another 29 hammers, and that actually can work quite soon. Let's see if I do this right. In 4 turns, I will have 3 population to whip, and I will only need 4 population to whip. Okay, so I'll do that. Tesh Koko, let's even note that down for myself, because I'll forget otherwise. Calixt La Huaca, did I start building? Yeah, I've got 2 hammers. Well, let's not worry about the 2 hammers in that market. And Tlatelolco, 4 hammers, so pathetic. This one not started mercifully. Unworked cottages, very interesting. Oh yes, but I'm about to get a great scientist, so that's why I'm leaving the cottages unworked briefly, because that's where the scientist is most advanced. This one is going to be whipped in 2 turns when Clash Killer grows. Now, whipping markets like that is probably probably rather questionable, especially when I kind of need to be running every available cottage, but it does give me +1 happiness from the ivory, and I of course am running 0% science, so that's my thoughts on internal development. I'm ahead. I just need to stop founding cities. Like I'm tempted to. I had a label here. I was planning to build one here, and I still have a label here as well. Should I keep the labels in as a sort of show of defiance? Maybe one right there would be cool. The problem is, though, it becomes absurd at some point. Like, it's not worth it financially, and strategically, it's just a liability. So let's just stop. Let's just stop labeling them. Anyhow, so like I said, I'm limited to 6 population outside of cap, 8 in cap, 8 and 9 with a market, and then when I get calendar, it will go up to +3, because there's sugar here, and this was under jungle, but I settled the city, so now I don't have to get ironworking before connecting it. There's the incense here, and I'm aggressive and creative in this, so I'll have culture on the incense, and I have spices over here. So that will bring you up to 11 in any town, won't it? No, 10. 10 in any town with a whipped market and the 3 resources. So that'll be good. That'll be enough to be getting along with, and I might even get a Hinduism spread, or I might switch to organised religion and send out some missionaries. It's a bit greedy, but it pays off eventually. And that would bring me up to 11, which is really enough. It's enough to be working with. Now, so internal development, I think I'm ahead. Land grab, I'm ahead. The only problem is not getting rushed. Now, exist. He could rush me because he has legions or praetorians, and he's just here, so he could send legionaries through here, and he could actually bank on the fact that Mali wouldn't take advantage because Mali wouldn't want to throw the game by protecting me because Mali can see them in the lead. So Zist really could attack me with a bunch of legionaries. The problem is that, look how far behind he is. I could probably just put up walls here, put some Axemen in it, and I am preparing to whip one right here, in fact, just to be on the safe side since he has a scout here. And I should probably keep a scout here as well. I should probably just leave a scout here for the rest of the game until he kicks it out with cancelling open borders. So another couple of Axemen coming along in 7 turns or whatever. So yeah, 3 Axemen and a wall's built, whipped once this stone gets connected. Maybe I should expedite the connection of the stone. This is on a hill. Like, how is Green Line ever going to attack me? Because he can go through here, and I think he eventually will. But galleys, yeah, it's an extra 25 hammers per unit of cost to put units in galleys, and I'll be able to react. And and there's an extra turn of delay to avoid the amphibious landing penalty. He could attack Tlacopan, but I've got this galley here that I can use to ferry units across, so he can actually see the defense. He can see the defense here, so but like, he doesn't have a road here, and he can't suddenly move workers onto a hill to road it, so I'm just not going to be taken by surprise there. Then there's this. I have creative vision over this mountain all the way up to here, so that's just not going to take me by surprise. Also, what the hell is this? Cottages on the... And he is working these tiles, but still, that's a bit odd, isn't it? But I shouldn't trash talk his internal development. He's got monarchy and organised religion, so he's doing better than I am, probably, considering this. So yeah, so how do I take damage? Like, the galley tax probably means I have to worry about this or this. If I lose these cities over here, well, it's just too far away from anyone, so that's not going to happen for a while. I guess Atrin could attack me with horse archers. That'd be funny. But no, it's just so far away. It's ridiculous. That would be ridiculous. Like, he probably has a city over here, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. However many turns to get over there. Creative, make sure that I have a bit of extra culture vision. I can just build a wall in a couple of places. I'll be fine. So that was really the weakness, is getting rushed somehow, or not even rushed, just attacked. It's not a rush on turn 99, but I don't think that is a weakness. Is founding this city stupid? I'm going to find out. There's only one way to find out, which is founding it and seeing how badly it affects my maintenance score. I think it would be like -15 maintenance, probably, on net, but it'll take 2 away from here. And it'll add 2 trade routes. And it'll add, 2 and then 4, and, it'll be a -6 in total, which is not so bad. I could even just build I guess I should whip a granary, but I could build wealth in this. Might be interesting to do that. Instead of building granaries. Maybe I should just be building wealth. Even in these small towns. How long is this going to take? I have 4 population to whip with, and I want to gain 14 hammers. Well, I'm not getting 14 hammers this turn, so I can just do 2 hammers for 2 turns. Okay. Oh yes, and I might as well pull up the score graphs. So score, leading on score, been leading on score for a long time. Look at this. GNP, oh my goodness, I didn't realise. So you can kind of see how my GNP has stagnated because of the extremely overexpansion. But even then, I'm still actually equal. Manufactured goods, bad, quite bad. Curious. I guess I just have a lot of specialists and floodplain cottages. Crop yields, that's pretty clear lead. Power mediocre, and the guy that has more power than me is in the other corner of the map, having wounded one of my neighbours, the one with prates, so that's great. Culture, well, that's just the creative trait talking. Demographics, so number 1 in GNP, somehow, from the scientists. Although I don't know if this is net income, it probably isn't. Like, are they really languishing on 15 net? Probably not. 51, so I am significantly behind the leader. Crop yield, significantly ahead. Land area, bloated by creative. Population, I'm actually behind on population. So someone has really stacked up population in the capital. That could be Greenline, because he's got monarchy. And what are people's things, characteristics? So Adrian somehow only has 8 cities when he's imperialistic, and he took a city from, maybe he didn't take a city from Zist. I don't know. Only 8 though, that's kind of curious. Financial, not too interesting to discuss. Green Line, so he's got, is he like, how do you even tell what civilization they are? Is Green Line Byzantines? Well, cataphracts are terrifying. Not much more to say about that. Do I actually need to attack him before he gets cataphracts? But he is, and he's the best internally developed. He's equal on score with Atron. He's right next to me. So he probably doesn't feel any need to attack me. But if he has if he's, how do you even view what civilization is, though? It doesn't have a portrait. I mean, that looks like, oh yeah, he's got a flag, okay. So he is going to have cataphracts, and maybe protective was a good pick because it literally secures you long enough to get cataphracts. It's an interesting concept. So, yeah, and Zist has Praetorians, which he's not Praetorian rushing me. He probably can't and doesn't want to Praetorian rush me. So, you know, does he want to take this town? Like, if he took this town with its 2 luxury resources, it would hurt me, but it wouldn't really benefit him very much, I don't think, because he's not getting calendar very soon, and he has gold. So, I don't think he really wants to attack me that much, especially when this is probably quite a tense situation, notwithstanding the warrior there. So it's really Green Line who is my main enemy in this game, and his strategy will be to turtle and advance until he has cataphracts and then go crazy. And when he does go crazy, the 50 hammer tax on transporting units will be a lot lower when said units are high power cataphracts. So he could go for something through here, but I could just park some triremes and then it's a bigger nuisance for him to go through there. And like cataphracts alone aren't going to break through a city that has a bunch of maybe pikes or something in it. If I was him and my cap is up here, would I want to go here and have to face a bunch of galley raids? Maybe. Because if he takes this, then he blocks my galley's ability to move sideways. Like, if he takes this, it's kind of inevitable that he'll also have this. And that would be a stable potential peace treaty border. Like, I would conceivably be okay with losing these 2. So he could go after that and it would be a sort of limited war. He could also go here, but like, he could go through the hills as well, so he gets some defense with his advancing stack. Then if he goes here, well, you know, then he can go here and he can go here. So he can actually pick which direction. I'll probably be obliged to defend here, in which case he's free to go here. So this would be the sort of knockout blow. I like making predictions this early because then we get to see how they pan out. But I think his strategy, also if he attacks me here, I guess my vision doesn't extend that far. Like I can't see what's here or what's here. So he could go here, but this is like these cities just aren't very good. They've got some food. They've got 2 food resources each, and they're coastal for whatever that's worth. But it's really this town that he would like to take out, I think. So you go here, and then you threaten to go either way, depending on which is defended. And you get some vision from the hills, so you can sort of see which is more defended. Yeah, I think Tula is going to be a place that I should build a castle in. And I should get longbows, because, I'm aggressive, so whatever. Could be longbows, could be gunpowder if I actually have an economic advantage, which I probably don't, not over him. So I'm not going to get gunpowder in time to fight his cuirassiers, his cataphracts, so it's more about getting pikemen and just playing defense with a whole lot of catapults for however long it'll take for him to set that up. Well, that's turn 99. Oh yes, and by the way, earlier on in the game, it hasn't purely been Sevac's idea. I delayed connecting the city with its roads so that you can make a couple of warriors and use them as city garrisons. So that's why we have 1, 2, 3, 4 warriors, and I thought that was a nice little hammer saving. Each of these markets will contribute about +4 gold, I guess, from once some of the population's whipped away. They'll still be worth about +4 gold, and they will reduce the number of cities tax a little bit. But so on balance, I think whipping them actually won't. Maybe I shouldn't even whip them, because I whip them and then I just lose gold from not having as many citizens there. Does that make sense? Oh, but it's good for the happiness. And whipping them means I get the infrastructure, plus I can then move on to building the next thing, which is axes and spears to defend the border, which I do need some of. Although maybe that's why Green Line only has 1.3 force ratio, because he's really looking at the walls, the protective archers, and going for that cataphracts later on. Toodles.